from the Palace. Piston ball. Isaiah Thomas, who took special shooting coaching yesterday from Brendan Malone. He had a 5 for 17 night in Chicago on Friday night. And Craig Hodges will open up defensively on him. They go to James Edwards early. Too strong.
Come on, bro. What type of... Bro, what?
And Jordan will be... Here's the pass inside to Cartwright. Isaiah. It's a 3-on-4.
Come on, we got to manifest this. I'm manifesting right now.
Short. Nice job of blocking the shot by Horace Grant.
I need K to be Isaiah, man.
Joe Dumars, Scottie Pippen guards him. Now Jordan back for...
Oh, yeah, Bill.
Well, certainly it's Lambeer and James Edwards that the Pistons want to get off to a good start. It's their inside play that's going to make it a lot easier for the three guards of Detroit, and Vinnie Johnson, Joe Dumars, and Isaiah Thomas.
Now they keep Hodges down on the right side. Pippen takes it over left and gets it into Bill Cartwright. Backs in on James Edwards, throws an elbow, and the foul will be called.
Recognizing that the strength to back it as much as they can, occupy Edwards and Lambeer.
Bill Jackson said yesterday, conversation with us, that the Bulls might be able to win today with 95 points, but they won't win with 85.
And they certainly won't win without some inside help. Bill Cartwright with a nice job on the baseline. He's got to get off to a good start.
That ties it up at 2-2. Isaiah Thomas comes out to get the pass from Dumars. Craig Hodges guards him. Thomas finds in, too strong. Tip is good. Dennis Rodman gets two. And it's a 4-2 Detroit lead. Now Jordan will probe the left side. Back it comes to Scottie Pippen. Hodges with 4 for 4 from three-point range, breaking out of a big slump on Friday night in the win. He is a streak shooter. Takes it right at Lambeer. Offensive foul.
We're recognizing, Vern, what happened in Game 6. Isaiah Thomas still on his jump shot. Can't put it on the floor very well, particularly going to his left, and we saw what happened.
We played 2 minutes. It's a 4-2 Detroit lead. Foul on Bill Cartwright.
We take a look at this replay. James Edwards told me yesterday he was very concerned about the Bulls fronting him. But Cartwright decides to play behind him. James said he wasn't going to fight them in the post. But he used his body very well that time. Billy Cartwright cannot play James Edwards from behind. He's going to have to get a lot of help if he's going to play behind him.
Now Dumars. Isaiah Thomas. And this is that. Saw him yesterday for a half an hour after practice ended.
Well, certainly in Game 6, he was very afraid of what was going on behind him and took his focus off the shooting.
Said the problem was with his follow-through, pointing his finger at the basket. Here's Cartwright to Jordan off the pick. Jumper. No. Cartwright. Back to Pippen in the corner. Cartwright was open. Edwards comes over to get on it. Now Craig Hodges. Horace Grant. Too strong.
Well, of course, both teams are tight. You can see it in the shooting, missing badly. But somewhere down the line, the emotion has to run off. And again, back to fundamental basketball.
Dumars with an air ball. It's still 4-2, and we've played 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Did you expect to see this kind of tightness?
Well, certainly Game 7 always brings that out. But it has to wear off.
Here's Dumars in transition. No. Scottie Pippen brings it up the other direction.
Well, we talked about the dirty work in defense.
That's good D, Horace.
No good. Long rebound, Isaiah Thomas. Now the pace of the game picked up considerably. Dumars.
Hey.
Well, we talk about a breakthrough in transition with Joe Dumars. The broken floor allows him to find lanes to the basket. And that's what Detroit needs to kind of raise the emotion level.
Dumars.
22nd timeout has been. It's a chance left. Means
they're going to have to find for the team a world of difference.
3-point effort. Ed Neely has come in now. He played only 1 minute in Game 6. So Ed Nealy makes an appearance in the ball game. And he replaces Scottie Pippen. What does that mean?
Well, the insertion of Ed Nealy kind of emphasizes the kind of play that's going on inside, particularly the rebounding aspect. Nealy clears the place out. He's also a smart passer. He's a good conduit for your offense to get the ball to other people. Scottie Pippen will get a rest because he's going to be needed somewhere down here for offense.
Michael Jordan cuts the margin to 3, 7-4, nearing the 8-minute mark of quarter number 1. Back it comes to Lambier. 3, no. Hodges. Nealy had gotten loose down at the other end, but the Bulls will slow it up. Michael Jordan. And it's a 7-6 ball game.
Well, the Pistons are getting the shots that they want. They're moving the ball. A nice job on Lambier the last trip down, but they're going to have to find a way again to get to the basket. That's their game.
Dumars drives by Jordan, puts up the underhand shot, and it goes right in the hands of James Edwards out to Craig Hodges. Lambier and Thomas hurry back. Hodges spots up for 3. No. Jackson said, I don't have any doubt that he can come back and have another hot streak today. So far, it hasn't been there. Now, Edwards.
Nice.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Bill Cartwright cannot guard James Edwards from behind. Edwards has too quick a lateral movement and nice moves inside. Cartwright's going to have to get help.
Under 7 minutes, Jordan for 3. Well, they've taken the perimeter shots for the most part. Bulls trail by 9-6. Isaiah Thomas trying to get off the mark. He was 5 of 21 in the first 2 games played here. Had his best games on the road in Chicago until the other night. Here's Edwards again. And Grant, who had 14 rebounds in the win by the Bulls on Friday night. That one.
Well, Horace Grant has certainly been a factor on the boards, but more importantly, when he was matched up against Bill Lambier, they liked that matchup. Here he's got Dennis Rodman on him.
Cartwright, jump hook. Tipped out to Isaiah Thomas. 2-on-2 as Hodges gets back. Thomas and Jordan. Offensive foul. Up by 3 on top. 6:12 remaining first period of play. Isaiah Thomas called with that last foul, Lenny.
Well, at the top of the telecast, we spoke of players knowing, of all people, great defense inside. Good position. He was set. An excellent call. Isaiah Thomas struggling. He wants to get to the basket because his jump shot's not working. But Michael
Jordan in finger side. He did not practice yesterday, but no swelling, and he's just fine. Now Hodges at the point this time. Jordan works the baseline. Hodges inside to Bill Cartwright. Kicks it back out to Craig Hodges. There's Hodges' first 2 of the game.
And perfect pass outside in a standstill position. That's the way Craig Hodges likes to shoot.
9-8 Detroit. 5:45 to go, quarter number 1. Pistons are 16-1 in the playoffs in this building in the last 2 years. The one loss, Chicago beat them in game 1 a year ago. Dumars has it roll off the rim. Now Chicago can take the lead. Horace Grant. Dennis Rodman picks up the foul. His first. Ed Nealy will inbound.
The Pistons are giving up very easy post position inside.
Rebound by Grant. That's another one. Hodges for 3. Yes. So he has hit his last 2 baskets now.
Second chance opportunities off the boards that time, giving the Bulls an opportunity to go back to their basic game, which is to penetrate and get the ball out to their standstill jumpers if nothing's there.
Chicago was 70% of its 3-pointers the other night. They're on a 9-2 run right now and have the lead. The triple team on Edwards brings the dish to Dumars and the foul on Ed Nealy.
Well, certainly the Bulls were aware that Bill Cartwright double and triple team, not to panic and find the open man. As we see here, with the nice pass inside, he turned and faced the baskets many times. Big guys inside who is double and triple, they stay with their back to the basket. They never see the cutters.
In the series, Joe Dumars, the leading Piston scorer, 22 points per game. And of course, I think most of us remember the exemplary performance he had last year in the finals with a 27-point average and the MVP trophy. We're tied at 11, 4:40 remaining, first quarter. Portland Trail Blazers watching out west to see who their opponent will be in the NBA Finals. Pick and roll, Ed Neely tapped away by Dennis Rodman. Played the passing lane perfectly and draws the foul from Craig Hodges. What a nice play by the MVP Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, you certainly can't say enough about Dennis Rodman. The strengths that he has are his anticipation abilities. Right there, he was still aware of where the ball was and got into the passing lane. Never took his eye off the ball and still maintained contact with his man.
Rodman playing with that injured left ankle, injured in game 4. The game in which he had 20 points and 20 rebounds. Here's Dumars, nice pump fake, has to adjust the ball, and gets it to James Edwards, and the shot is not there. Now it's a little volleyball, and Edwards gets it.
Hey.
Pistons back on top by 2, 3:56 to go. Jordan. Dumars. Bill Laimbeer with a grimace.
Crimson for what?
Dumars takes away the lane from Jordan. He's with Michael Jordan.
The nature of his lineup brings Pippen back in. Craig Hodges goes out, so Ed Neely stays in, and Jordan will go to the point guard full time. Here's Cartwright. Nope. Laimbeer rebound. Finds Dumars. It's 3-on-2. Neely hustles back. Rodman loses the ball. That is the second Detroit turnover.
Michael Jordan again figures prominently in the defense back against the break.
Give and go, and the ball is kept. And the shot is made by Horace Grant.
Well, with this lineup, the Bulls have offensively, they have a big backcourt, and they're able to see over the smaller guards and able to dump the ball down inside, particularly with the matchup of Grant and Laimbeer.
Dumars. Pippen on him. Nice move. Shot short. Detroit not hitting all that well. They are 5 of 17 from the field now. They were 6 of 24 in that pivotal quarter number 3 on Friday night. Jordan underneath. No, but he'll shoot. Second foul called on James Edwards.
In the huddle, also wants Vinnie Johnson to stay up on Michael Jordan, try to keep him on the perimeter. Let's go to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Les, over here at the Chicago Bulls bench, game with a...
He was that quarter blister.
Very well available for him, so when you get to the fourth quarter in a tight situation, he's going to be the focus of the Piston defense. He'll have confidence in dumping it off to his teammates who are now in the game offensively.
This is the 68th time that Michael Jordan has been to the free throw line in the Trailblazers, where that game will be played. If Detroit wins, it will be here. If Chicago wins, it will be in Portland. Here's Vinnie Johnson. Rodman had Laimbeer open under the basket. Didn't see it. 5 of 18 shooting the ball now for the Detroit Pistons. Neither team has shot that well throughout this series. It's been a defensively oriented series. And here's Neely on the terrific pass.
And that's what I'm talking about. Michael Jordan, as the focus of the Pistons defense, now feels comfortable giving the ball up to his teammates because they've shown a willingness to take it to the basket.
That'll be Detroit ball. Keep in mind that substitution that Phil Jackson made a while ago. He pulled Hodges out, Pippen back in, so a much taller lineup, and Ed Neely stayed in the lineup. So it's King, Pippen, Grant, Jordan, and Neely right now. Next for 3. Isaiah Thomas is 0 for 3. Vinnie Johnson with a rebound. He was 0 for 10 in Game 6. Johnson was.
Oh, boy.
Trap on the baseline. Back it comes to Laimbeer.
That ball just fell right to his leg. That's crazy how the ball just went straight to Rodman, bro. Like he was just following the ball.
You recognize that the 3 frontline players, Stacey King, Horace Grant, and Ed Neely, are bangers, they're rebounders, but they're not as quick as the players for the Pistons at this time. And many times people believe that it's always size that gives you an advantage rebounding, but more so it's quickness, whoever gets to the ball first. And this time the Pistons have gotten a couple second chance opportunities that have put some people on the line. That's where they've had an advantage throughout the series.
B.J. Armstrong. So Jordan sits down with...
Dennis Rodman really is a wonderful team player.
156 to go first quarter. See how long he stays down and what happens to the score while he's getting his rest.
You know, blown in off the court.
Pippen. Stacey King is coming to the lineup for Chicago. Nice move by King. Too strong with the shot. Lambier rebound. Detroit off to a very slow start from the field. 5 of 19. Here's Lambier. 5 of 20. They're hitting 20% now.
Well, they're not getting
Nowadays,
the
if
shots
you
that
could
they
do
want,
everything
the Pistons
Rodman
in
can do,
set love to go inside, but the Bulls have sealed that off.
Really set her at a disadvantage kind of because you can't shoot. Kind of like Dyson Daniels.
First-year man out of Iowa.
Yep. Dyson Daniels. That's what Rodman. That's the closest to Rodman. But Dyson don't get rebounds though. That ain't even the same.
Neely hustles for the rebound.
That ain't even the same.
Ed Neely, who refers to himself as the ultimate role player. Now Mark Aguirre is going to come on for the Pistons. Aguirre had an inconsequential game in Game 6, but in Game 5 he was terrific in the fourth quarter. Here's Neely.
Well, what gives Neely his moniker and makes it fit is the fact that he's willing to lay his body on the line when you get underneath the basket. He takes a lot of punishment in there and dishes some out himself, but he's always going after the ball in relentless fashion, and that's one thing that the Bulls need because they have a lot of finesse players out there.
Chicago up by 4, final minute, quarter number 1. Has this been more Chicago defense or Piston ineptitude?
Well, the Pistons can't really utilize what's been given them, and that's the perimeter shot. The Bulls are sagging back, taking away the post-ups.
5 for 21 for Detroit. Not all that great for Chicago. They're now 7 of 19 themselves. Final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Both coaches were in agreement. Defensive intensity would tell the story of this game. Thomas. .14 on the shot clock. Just the slightest fraction of difference in the game clock and the shot clock. Armstrong. Spin move by Thomas. Doesn't get the roll. Well, it's a Piston pace, but that's the end of the Pistons. Well, we expect Chicago has a lead after the end.
Bench, William B. Johnson and Mark.
Used again in Chicago playoff games. He's in there now. So the Pistons have Vinnie Johnson, John Sally also in, Isaiah Thomas and Mark Aguirre. They have, on a normal day, much deeper bench. Here's Jordan's shot that will not fall, and Detroit with a chance to tie. Isaiah Thomas brings it up. B.J. Armstrong guards him. Michael Jordan will draw Vinnie Johnson. Ball kick, fresh 24.
Certainly William Bedford's presence for the Pistons defensively. He's a big body. He has the ability to block some shots. And on the offensive end, he can go to the basket, to the backboard pretty well, and particularly when he posts up and the ball goes away from him.
Now, when he came in last weekend, it surprised a lot of folks, and Daly said, hey, I didn't like what I was getting out of my center position. There's the tying basket. And Mark Aguirre gets his first 2 of the ball game. Surprised to see him this early in Game 7?
Well, he is a big body, as I say. He will give Lambier and Edwards a rest, and that's primarily what he's in for, to spell them. Hopefully his team will stay within striking distance or maybe bump up the lead a little bit.
Horace Grant had that go-ahead basket. Now Johnson, Isaiah Thomas. Thomas 1 of 4. They get to a 5.
Well, you got the master and you got the rookie. And Isaiah Thomas is backing B.J. Armstrong down. Armstrong giving up a lot of room. That's helping Isaiah's shooting confidence.
Isaiah Thomas has 6 rebounds now. 21 all. Pippen. Mark Aguirre is called away from the ball. That's his first. Armstrong, Grant, Pippen, Michael Jordan, who rested the final 156 of the first quarter. Michael Jordan. He's got 8 points now.
Well, the Bulls are doing a nice job. Vinnie Johnson was told to stick with Michael Jordan, and they're bumping him off nicely with picks.
That's the first on B.J. Armstrong. powerful instructions coming from the bench in the form of Phil Jackson. Armstrong gets back with him. They look inside. Bedford was posting up. Thomas feels like he's got it going now, but he misses that shot, and Pippen clears the rebound. Rebounds now 15-17.
Really?
Chicago has the edge.
Catch the
Well, that was a
ball,
lost
bro.
opportunity. But what's happening is with Bedford in there, he's not an offensive threat.
Time has been called. Chicago holds on to the lead by...
About Isaiah Thomas establishing his confidence on offense. The outside shots hadn't been falling too much, but here he backs down B.J. Thomas to get in a position where he has nice range. These are the things that kick up. The other things that kick up his shooting confidence. And here we see them practicing yesterday. Brendan Malone, the assistant coach there, working with Isaiah Thomas.
Said he was having his problems with his follow-through. Isaiah Thomas talking now with Jake O'Donnell.
And if I said B.J. Thomas, it's B.J. Armstrong. B.J.
Thomas,
an oldie but goodie.
Raindrops will keep falling on your head. The title of the song he made famous a few years back.
Oh.
You and I remember. Do we ever? Mark Aguirre works hard for the shot.
Absolutely, he worked hard, falling away. Didn't really get a good eye at the basket. The Bulls' defense is active.
9:20 to go, first half. Michael Jordan pump fake. Johnson flying, rejected by John Sally. Battle for the loose ball. They're still fighting, and Chicago will get it after Sally touched it.
We talked about hard work, and Aguirre really can't get into the basket the way he wants. Consequently, he has to bump and fade away. He can make some of those shots, but the Bulls can live with that. They have to be happy with their defense.
Michael Jordan looks inside for Stacey King. Over to B.J. Armstrong. Grant with yet one more rebound and a foul on William Bedford. And they are quickly separated.
Well, we talked about Bedford earlier. His presence provides a big body in the guards.
Stay on the bench. Rodman back in. Horace Grant will shoot free throws.
Excuse me. And this is some juice. Some juice.
Back to a two-point edge for Chicago. Their goal, I guess, Lamb, was just to be within range at the end of three quarters, right?
Certainly, they want to show some resilience, take all the Piston runs, have a few of their own, but then hang around until the fourth quarter. Then it's Jordan time. And as we saw earlier with Pat O'Brien, the T-shirt said, "You can't touch this." If Jordan has an opportunity, he's going to take that.
Michael Jordan. Gets it up to the left side. It's tipped into the hands of Denny Johnson. Jordan almost steals it, and then it's thrown away. Rodman went down for it.
That's some good juice.
And Aguirre did as well, and that has Chuck Daly up in pace.
Certainly, every possession is going to be important in this game. Isaiah Thomas tried to make the hard pass. Instead of backing up, they still had the advantage. They're going to have to get a little smarter in situations like that. Or a little
isolation play now for Jordan. Turnaround jumper off the glass. No. Jordan is 3 out of 9. Here's a Grant steal. Vinnie Johnson took an elbow, and Jordan gets the rebound.
Johnson double teamed. His team leaves him alone. Hangs him out to dry. Leaving his man, John Sally runs out of the picture. Michael Jordan, with his anticipation of Johnson turning his back, gets it to Grant, and Vinny holds his eye. And yes, he was struck. He was hit strictly in the eye.
Okay. As you told me a couple of weeks ago, you were a man of letters.
Yeah, but you get excited.
As you told me a couple of weeks ago, you were a man of letters.
No way, bro. No way.
Yeah, but you get excited in these games.
I know.
You want to get the correct tense. That's a replay. But you know what I meant.
I do. And neither one of us is tense, so we're just fine. 7:40 to go, first half. 28-27 Pistons on top after Sally's three-point play. Set the lineups now. This is Isaiah Thomas guarding B.J. Armstrong. Craig Hodges back in the lineup. Jordan will go to small forward. Cartwright. No call. Blocked by Isaiah Thomas. Here's Dumars.
Hey.
Able to with the basket at the other end, Len.
Well, certainly the crowd is getting into this game and raising the emotion and the intensity level. Michael Jordan really didn't have any place to go with it. As he's been surrounded, his teammates are going to have to make themselves more available.
Field goal percentage now as the Pistons have hit 6 of 7 in this quarter to increase their average to 41. Blocked by Isaiah Thomas, and Joe Dumars got the basket at the other end. Interesting how some speculate that this is becoming more and more a team led by Joe Dumars rather than Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah now 29 years old and in his 9th year. Michael Jordan, no question about who leads that team. That pass almost thrown away. O'Donnell and Strom, and the call is overruled by Earl Strom. Seniority has its rights.
And certainly Earl may have been in the better position, but he's not afraid to make his presence known.
Jake O'Donnell had initially said Chicago ball. Strom said no, Aguirre touched it. Earl Strom, who will retire at the conclusion of this season. Under 7 minutes to go, first half. Long shot by Armstrong. Isaiah Thomas. John Sally. Trap on Jordan. Foul on Isaiah Thomas.
Well, certainly this was Phil Jackson's greatest fear, that the crowd would get into the game, that the Pistons would take off on a spurt that would push them away from the Bulls. And it has all the makings of one of those Pistons runs where they are playing excellent defense, turning the Bulls over, and getting the shots that are going to raise this crowd, the dunks and the high acrobatic types of things.
6.5 to go before halftime. Pippen, Jordan, Hodges, Grant, and Cartwright on the floor now for Chicago. There's the pick from Cartwright, but a good switch by Aguirre. Back it goes to Pippen for 3. No. Well, they hit 7 of 10 the other night. They've got only 1 today from 3-point range. At the other end, Isaiah Thomas.
On the Bulls offense, certainly no one on the backboards. The dirty work is not being done.
Right. Blocked by Sally. A 9-0 run by Detroit. 11.
Phil had enough.
Timeout. Chicago.
Quiet as the Pistons lead the Bulls 36-27. We always try to. Rick, not this time of year. We'll more at a familiar place. The Prudential at the half. Back to a couple of familiar.
The end of an 11-0 run by the Detroit Pistons. Mark Aguirre. But while that was going on, Joe Dumars has a groin game and going in opposite directions in his second quarter. The Pistons 9 of 12 now. Chicago 3 of 11. And the last 11 points have been scored by the defending world champions.
Well, Phil Jackson found it difficult to get anything done with his young people, B.J. Armstrong and Stacey King. He's got his starting lineup back.
And for Detroit. 3 of 12 now. Here's Pippen adjusting his shot and getting it over Sally.
And that was a great offensive rebound and tip by Craig Hodges, who stuck his nose in there to get that shot for Scott Pippen.
Craig Hodges.
Mark Aguirre from Isaiah Thomas. 9 years ago, the number 1 and 2 draft choices in the NBA. Aguirre, of course, taken by Dallas. There's Sally stripped to the ball. The first
greatest defense since it's in front of his bench.
Dumars tipped. Jordan has it. Dumars hurries from behind, and Jordan will slow it down. Isaiah Thomas guarding him now. Aguirre looking around for his man. It's Harris Grant underneath. Here's Pippen. Aguirre comes out. A lot of moves, then passes it back to Cartwright.
Oh my God, Bill.
Isaiah Thomas with another rebound. He's got 7.
Jump shot.
Aguirre.
Run it up and everything.
Pushing it up the floor like that keeps the Bulls retreating, and then patience to wait for the trailers like Mark Aguirre to come down the lane. They can walk to the basket.
Hodges, Chicago ball.
That time available, it gets a ball off an awful lot. Ed Neely's more the kind of guy to go inside.
Neely has it blocked by Sally. Well, in their loss here, they are shooting less than that right now. They are at 30%, 12 of 40. And Jackson said, we must shoot well. Thomas.
Getting a shot now where he has his confidence, and that's in the paint.
Isaiah Thomas with 10 points and 7 rebounds. Jordan. Pippen. Bulls are 1 of 6 from three-point range. 1 of 7. What's leading to this emphasis on perimeter shooting by Chicago?
Well, one of the problems is that Detroit is only to occur because happening. They get to continue to bend up there to contest them.
Rodman at the free throw line. For his Chuck Daly was trying to hurry something in. Now Rodman misses on the second, but he's really been hitting free throws quite well against Chicago. 10-point edge. Pistons on a good run now. 41-31. Hodges for 3. It still won't go. They're 1 of 8. They were 7 of 10 at home on Friday night from three-point range.
Dang.
Much better job of the Bulls in getting back in transition.
Aguirre. Loose ball, Aguirre again. Boy, when he gets in a groove, he is something to behold. He's got 10 points now. It is thought by most that Detroit has the stronger bench of the two. That was not the case on Friday night. It certainly is proving to be this afternoon. Bulls can't buy a basket. That includes Michael Jordan.
Certainly both coaches told us yesterday that they expect a different character to arise here. Someone who has to step up their game just a bit in order to take their team over the hump, and that person might be Mark Aguirre right now. He is for Detroit.
Aguirre, 5 of 6. Acquired last year from Dallas in the trade for Adrian Dantley, the much discussed trade. And another shot won't go. Aguirre with a rebound.
And you talk about the poor Chicago field goal shooting. Phil Jackson said that his team has poorer selection on the road. But he thought in the 7th game that they'd be over that. Obviously, they're not.
5 of 22 in this quarter. Isaiah Thomas adjusts the shot and draws the foul.
Oh, y'all foul. Y'all make sure y'all foul.
Armstrong with his second foul. Early in this quarter, gave the Pistons the lead at 28-27. And they're on.
That has to do with the Detroit defense in forcing the perimeter shot. The Bulls not able to connect are still taking the quick shot. And Pistons are coming off with the rebound and taking off. And the Bulls haven't got too many people back to defend.
Lead is 13.
They need some floor balance when they take the shot.
Man,
been a disastrous
this is to the
quarter
finals
for the
too.
Chicago Bulls. A marvelous 10 minutes thus far for Detroit.
Jordan, Bulls the bad.
Short. Rodman with the rebound.
And it's everyone on that Bulls team who's taking quick shots and not able to put it down.
Think about it, bro.
Now 4 of 12.
Michael have 7 rings if this game right here, bro.
Aguirre is 5 of 6. Back to Dumars.
I'm literally watching his. This is supposed to be his 7th ring, bro.
That's the third foul on Isaiah Thomas.
He was going to smoke Clyde.
Benny Johnson is going to give Isaiah Thomas a rest. Thomas, who has not played that well at home, ironically enough, he averaged 31 points in the games in Chicago until the other night, only 8 in the previous 3 games played here. But he's got it together today. Jordan taken away by Rodman, playing the passing lane again. There's another steal. And that's 6 Chicago turnovers.
And certainly not a good pass by Michael Jordan. After going behind his back, he didn't
I'm
even
just
really
thinking
look. He tried to look off the defender. But Rodman would not be denied there. He's not going for that kind of fake anymore.
Man, he could have 7, 8, 9.
Double team on Aguirre as Grant comes out.
This game right
Sally
here.
with 1 second on the shot clock.
What's wrong? I gotta figure out what the problem is with this game. Scottie not doing nothing because he got the migraine.
21,500 on their feet.
This is hard to watch.
To bring this
I'm gonna watch
game
it
to a halftime.
Migraine, Scottie? Okay. Migraine, Scottie. Arm, maybe? I don't know.
Bailey still coaching.
Yeah, bro. Chat, y'all gotta help me figure out why Mike don't have 7 rings at least right now. Well, he definitely, because he retired for 1. But just saying, man.
To the Trailblazers, whose team ousted Phoenix
This
4 games to 2. They were one of the teams that won on the road this year, but not many have. Detroit, this is really
large type of effort. Attempts haven't really tried to stop what they have to
do. Back at the line, gets the free throw. Now the final 5 seconds. Got it, Rodman. That punctuates a pretty good period. As Detroit outscores Chicago.
I hope the Detroit do this in real time too. Like man.
Is the key finish within for an up
now.
60.
Pistons need to do that in real time.
Present that a young old
currently on tour. The Ninja Turtles are enchanted.
If you wanted to create a star, a personality for the 90s that combined great skill, great performance, tremendous charisma, an all-American sensibility, good-looking, articulate, you'd create Michael Jordan.
I'm in a great opportunity.
Good-looking, articulate, you'd create Michael Jordan. Time out.
I'm in a great opportunity to pick and choose the interests that I want to go into after basketball, and I'm very fortunate to be in a position that I'm in, and I'm just trying to utilize all the opportunities.
Michael endorses everything from cars, shoes, to hamburgers, and now has his designs on air suits. Dressing for success is pay it in this bull's market. This association is strictly blue chip.
It's a lot. Oh, drip, hold on. Old school drip, vintage. James.
But are expansion franchises available?
Yeah, the Flight 23 stores has caught on. It has become more evident here in the last, I'd say, last month, because we get calls from all over the world. People want to open them up.
Oh, I want to be rich. An endorsement.
Blah, 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 blah.
That much money to go out and own a team, but seeing some of the frustrations that owners and GMs go through, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm more or less ready for the golf course once I retire.
Michael will really tell you that charity.
80 Chicago.
Look at his neck, excitement and the adrenaline on it.
Their 33 first-half points, lowest of any team in the playoffs this year. And they were fighting formidable odds playing on the road in this Game 7, coming in because the last 10 games that have gone to a Game 7 in the NBA playoffs have been won by the home team. But Jordan opens up the second half.
Well, certainly that's a good start, Vern. They have to start getting better execution offensively and eliminate the poor outside shooting.
Here's Michael Jordan after Isaiah Thomas misses with the jumper. It's Pippen, Hodges, that's the three. And those that were falling the other night are bouncing off the front of the rim this afternoon.
Well, still, that's too quick a shot. They have to slow the pace and try to explore their inside game. That'll open it up for the outside shot.
Lambier and Edwards. And here is James Edwards, averaging 32 points in this series. In the first half thus far, 12 points per game. But he's picked it up in the second half with 20. He had 18 in the third quarter of the game in Chicago, won by the Bulls on Friday night. They'll need those 18 plus if they're going to get back in this one. Horace Grant, no. Rebound, Lambier.
Yeah.
Well, the intent was what I mentioned, that they have to start exploring inside, moving the ball, and try to see if their big people can get positions, but they have to connect with the shot.
There's the patented pick and spot up with Lambier and Isaiah Thomas, and Jordan draws the foul.
And Jordan comes back in it in the second quarter. Most of those layups off the turnovers and missed shots by Chicago.
Good pass.
Thomas to Rodman.
He just fried them.
And it's back to a 15-point margin.
Sorry for your
Jordan kicks it out to Hodges. Taken away by Isaiah Thomas.
Frankly, Vern, with Paxson out of the game, his absence really looms large. Hodges not able to hit the shot. That's his role. Paxson would have some better.
Basket underneath off the pass to Thomas.
He'd have some better luck, I believe, in handling the ball, freeing Michael Jordan up to use the whole floor rather than having to bring the ball up court and start the offense.
Just to complete that thought on home court advantage, the last team to win a Game 7 on the road, the 76ers in 1982. Here's Hodges, who is now 1 of 8. 1 of 8 from three-point range. He was 4 of 4 the other night. Well, he's a streak shooter, as Phil Jackson said, but he's in a bad streak right now. Isaiah Thomas. Timeout, Chicago. Chuck Daly likes what he's seen in the first part of the second half.
Certainly it's been the precise execution of the Pistons that's gotten them this lead. Watch Isaiah Thomas set Craig Hodges up. Take him one way, go the other on the pick. Poor defensive intensity there by Craig Hodges, who once he was picked off, had to take the roll man on the switch.
And if the Pistons hang on to win this game, they will open the NBA playoffs at home against Portland at 9 o'clock Eastern time. If Chicago makes a marvelous comeback and wins the game, then the series would open in Portland on Tuesday night. The Trailblazers are ready. They have scheduled a departure in their private plane 2 hours after the conclusion of this game if Detroit wins. They'll be in here tonight around 1 o'clock Eastern time. The Trailblazers and the Pistons, 2 of the NBA teams that do fly chartered aircraft. Here's Michael Jordan from the baseline.
And when we talked about getting Michael Jordan at different parts of the floor to utilize his attack from those areas, you need someone who's going to be able to start the play. Craig Hodges' job is to do that.
Isaiah Thomas. Back to Lambier. Right now, let's check in with Pat O'Brien. Pat?
Vernon, the last time out the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan had his own team meeting on the floor. The coaches had their own meeting, 2 separate meetings. Jordan saying, hey, we are not out of this thing yet. I've never seen him so animated in a huddle. Back to you guys.
All right, Pat, he may have memories of the Detroit comeback back in Chicago when they were down by 19 and cut it to 3 on Memorial Day weekend. Now, they wound up losing that game, but they got right back in it. Here's Isaiah Thomas.
And if they're going to get back in it, it's on the defensive side of the floor. But the Pistons have the feeling right now they've generated an outside game.
Shot too strong off the glass. Another Piston rebound. It's Hodges, Cartwright, Grant, Pippen, and Jordan for Chicago. Isaiah Thomas for 3.
She's on fire.
Pippen chases down the long rebound. Jordan goes by Dumars and Rodman.
Event that the Chicago Bulls have gotten a hand on an offensive rebound. The Pistons have virtually eliminated the offensive rebounding opportunities. It's going to take that, plus it's going to take, again, execution offensively. Getting Jordan open, but having other people involved as well. Terrible pass by Horace Grant.
Horace Grant throws it right into the hands of Lambier. And then does chase down the long rebound after Isaiah Thomas misses the three-pointer. Jordan goes by Dumars. Over Edwards, 2 more. Michael now 8 of 16.
Man, he's going to cover.
And he's got 18 points. But the lead is 20. It was a 23-6 run early in the second quarter to the end of the half. That gave the Pistons this cushion. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I know how I feel about blowouts, though. They take Mike out the game, I'm gone.
Pippen is 1 of 5 from the field. 1 of 6.
Man,
Grant is 2 of 11, 2 of 12. And the putback is good. The shots just will not fall for Chicago.
But they're not giving up. You see them again, scraping the boards. That time, better floor balance. 2-3 guys on the offensive boards. They need that. Otherwise, the Pistons come off with the quick, after the quick shot with the rebound, and they're off to the races again in transition. But when you send 3, 4, 5 guys to the board, you're leaving yourself wide open for a layup.
Horace Grant shoots 2. .6:23 to go, third quarter, 61-43 now. Rodman finds Lambier, goes at Cartwright, and Bill Cartwright will draw the foul.
Pistons during someone and find them.
Lambier's 12th free side of the Chicago 13. Jordan. Nice soft bounce.
Well, the Pistons pressure did what it wanted to, throw the Bulls out of their rhythm.
Edwards misses at the other end.
Anything.
But he gets the rebound, and that's what's killing the Bulls right now.
Oh, might be making anything, bro. Like anything.
5:40 to go, third quarter. A 15-point Detroit lead at the half. Isaiah Thomas helped ignite that lead. And here's Michael Jordan with 20 points now. He's almost at the point where he's got to take it upon himself.
Well, he does, but what he is doing right now is recognizing when he's doubled and tripled, and he still has enough confidence in his teammates to hit them. Bill Cartwright with a nice job, like on the baseline.
In this
good
period,
time,
Chicago
Chuck.
6 of 13.
Time.
Chuck Daly with 5 champs on.
I never heard you.
What's special about a 7th down?
Well, what's special is the fact that the star players usually rise to the occasion. It's a big, big game. And as you can see with some of the Bulls players right now, they really don't want to handle the pressure of a 7 game. They really are. And Detroit's really playing well. But I think the key is Isaiah's really got them going, got them sparked. And the bench, Mark Aguirre and John Sally, really played well for them.
I heard you're taking Isaiah to dinner for congratulations. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. If he come out with this victory, I definitely will. You know, it's just he's a great competitor, and he sparked the Pistons to their lead right now.
Great. Thank you, Magic.
Talked to Isaiah this morning. He said they've got the hunger, they meaning Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, but we've got the wisdom. We've been here before.
Well, certainly that makes the difference. But you don't want to put all the pressure, if you're one of the Bulls, on your teammate Michael Jordan. You've got to share some of that. And when you have a superstar who can carry you, he'll do it in spurts, but you have to win as a team.
22-point lead has been cut down to 14 now, 63-49. And a foul called underneath the basket. John Sally's getting ready to come back in. James Edwards will get a rest.
Yeah, this nigga John Sally, man.
Foul was on Michael Jordan. That's his second non-shooting foul. Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Lambier. They'll do an isolation play now. Rodman. Little pick and roll. There's the roll. They settle for Lambier spotting up and then find Dumars in the corner. It worked perfectly except for the shot that did not go in. 63-49. A chance to get now within 12. Here's Jordan. He finds Horace Grant underneath, and Grant can't buy a bucket.
Well, that's when you have to stick your nose in there and draw the foul. Grant decided to fade away. Got a little cute with it. This is the 7th game. You got to lay everything out there.
Goes back to what perhaps Magic Johnson was just talking about. Horace Grant now 2 of 12 from the field. Rodman pick and roll again. This time Hodges stays with Rodman, and the switch. Isaiah Thomas, no. Jordan with a rebound. 3:50 to go, third quarter. Hodges for 3. Oh boy, big basket for the Bulls. That's his second of the ball game from 3-point range.
Well, the Bulls with pressure right now, but they've started to do what they need to. They slowed the pace. They've executed. You don't need an awful lot of execution. A pick here, a pick there to change the defense. Make them move a bit, and you'll find an opening.
Just sense the Bulls working on defense a little harder. Offensive foul called. And now the Chicago team, which trailed 61, penetrates, kicks out to Hodges. 3 points. No, sir. Rodman with a rebound. Now Chuck Daly sensed it a moment ago. The crowd's getting restless now. Dumars, Isaiah Thomas. Lambier is fouled by Craig Hodges. That's his third. The winner gets Portland. The NBA Finals begin Tuesday night on CBS at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Trailblazers with a wonderful season. They tied Detroit for the second best regular season record in the league. Dumars, look at the defensive job Jordan's doing. Look at him go to the baseline, but there is a foul.
Certainly spreading the floor and then penetrating has allowed the Piston guards to find a lot of cutters going to the basket. That's what they want to do now. Knowing the Bulls have to extend their defense and put some pressure on them, the Pistons are trying to use that aggressiveness against the Bulls.
Foul was called on Horace Grant, not on Michael Jordan. Sally gets the roll. Coming up next, final round of the Kemper Open from Washington, D.C. Steve Jones had the lead going into the final round. That's coming up next at the conclusion of our game. Steve Jones now at 12 under par, having started the day at -11. And lane violation. Even though Sally missed it, he gets another chance.
That's going to break your heart if you're the coach, and we saw Phil Jackson without a happy look on his face.
64-52.
Chuck Daly's time to have a broken heart.
Michael Jordan, 20 points in the ball game. Scottie Pippen. 9 on the shot clock. Dennis Rodman shadows Pippen on the baseline. The ball almost stolen. Hodges is going to have to throw this one up. He does. That almost went in. Cartwright with the follow, rejected.
Man, Mike got no help out there.
Here's Thomas at the other end. Blocked by Hodges. Foul on Hodges.
It's like Mike just got to do everything.
Well, when the Bulls look back on this game, and in the event that they lose, there are certain points of it that they can certainly say that they gave the effort.
I can actually say witnessed. Mike
Greg
really
Hodges
don't have that
that
much
ball
help
and
this
allowed
game,
Bill
bro.
Cartwright with that opportunity.
Like, this is... Mike don't have no help this game. Oh, Mike had this. Mike... Nah. This is... Mike don't have no help this game. If Mike has some help, this could be a close game. And potentially the Bulls could be in the finals. Scottie got this migraine going on. Oh, is Grant not really doing much? It's just not clicking. It's not clicking, man. Craig not making shots.
You can almost understand the crowd. You certainly can't play defense any better than Joe Dumars played at that particular point.
100th consecutive sellout crowd. They've only played 100 games in the Palace at Auburn Hills, where the defending world champions are playing their first 7th game of the series in the NBA playoffs at home. Michael Jordan gets the first free throw. And the Pistons are up 65-53 right now. Winner gets Portland in the NBA Finals. Vern Lundquist, Len Elmore, Leslie Visser, and Pat O'Brien here. Sally Balloon down. Here's the trap.
Mike don't get no help.
Well, the last play that put Michael Jordan on the line, you talk about excellent defense. That looked like a pretty good play there by Joe Dumars.
Sure did.
Certainly shadowed Michael Jordan, didn't allow him to turn the corner.
That was Dumars' first foul of the game, by the way. 1:38 remaining. B.J. Armstrong on now, late getting the left here, who hits the shot, and they have the mismatch down on the baseline.
And what the Pistons are doing is they're exploring and then backing out once the Bulls start rotating defensively and finding the mismatches.
Inside, Stacey King will shoot a couple after the pass from Michael Jordan. John Sally with the foul.
How good was this Bulls team?
Playing minutes have diminished as this series has gone from 4 to 5 to 6 and now to 7 games.
Well, Michael Jordan at the top is able to survey the court completely. And he's almost as valuable passing as he is scoring. Those are the types of things that the great point guards like Magic Johnson, Kevin Johnson, John Stockton, they see those things. Michael Jordan has the ability to see that from any part of the floor as well.
Jordan thinks about a three, but Vinnie Johnson comes out. Johnson on the court now for Detroit. Underneath, there's the thing he sees right there. Perfect example.
Well, working at the top, again, makes the teams defensively, like the Pistons, focus on Michael Jordan, but they don't have help side. So there are little holes, little seams in the type of defenses they play.
Again, the Bulls go to the trapping defense. Back to Vinnie Johnson. 0 for 10 the other night. Doesn't get that shot to fall. He's struggling right now. Loose ball. Kicked way down at the other end.
You got to get down on the floor for those balls. You're going to get a backache bending over. This is a 7th game of a series. 10 guys.
At 61-39. The Bulls have cut that margin to 10. Edwards. Jordan to King.
Jordan's the man for the time.
Hitting 5 of 6. And Neely's can rest the ball game. 6 of 6. Jordan's second rest of the game. He sat out the final 156 in quarter number 1. 10-point margin, 59-69. Detroit on top. They led by 15 at the half, using a 23-6 explosion in the second quarter. Here's Edwards, trapped by Neely. Double team, leaves Sally open. Rodman for the rebound, but it's on the floor. And the quarter is 69. Oh,
for allowing the ball.
19 points by Isaiah Thomas. Here's Aguirre, who's come in the fourth quarter, and Vinnie Johnson, who's also on the floor.
Well, the Pistons have seen that pressure enough during this series to be able to break it in that fashion.
Sally, Aguirre, Rodman, Thomas, and Johnson. So the 6, 7, and 8 men are on the court now for the Detroit Pistons. One of the better benches in the league. 16 fast break points now for Detroit. Michael Jordan is back in. He rested a total of 26 seconds. There's a steal by Scottie Pippen. Not that many turnovers in the ball game. Michael Jordan, no. Rodman gets the rebound. Aguirre. King and Aguirre. Jordan on Johnson. He finds Dennis Rodman.
Total lack of communication by the Bulls inside. 2 men running at the ball handler, leaving Rodman alone underneath. Got to minimize those mistakes. And on the other end, capitalize on the layups, which the Bulls have missed.
This is what Chuck Daly wanted. The first 4 points of the quarter belonged to Detroit. And now Jordan posts up and gets 2 more. He's got 24.
Vern, with 10 minutes and about 15 seconds left, a 12-point lead isn't insurmountable, particularly for the Bulls. They're almost where they'd like to be, within shooting distance. The only problem is they still haven't developed that ability on offense to get the ball where they want.
Thomas does a great job with the pump fake. And that's his Aguirre and many that 15 or 16. And then all of them for the owner, Don Carter. Aguirre throwing the franchise around. So Carter and the Mavericks drafted Aguirre. Detroit got Thomas, and now look, they're reunited.
And the Bulls wanted to get the ball to Jordan on the post. He was forced to come outside and get it. Ball to Jordan on the post. He was forced to come.
Let me see that. Let me see it in slow-mo.
They're reunited.
And the Bulls wanted to get the ball to Jordan.
Dang.
Kicked out, and time has been called. Takes the ball game. Isaiah points.
Jordan on the floor. And Isaiah Thomas to beat them from outside. It's that risk factor that they're going to have to start taking right now because their season's dwindling down.
Jordan now has Vinnie Johnson guarding him. B.J. Armstrong, nope. Loose ball, John Sally.
Nice shots.
Isaiah Thomas looks for Aguirre. Aguirre 6 of 7. Works on Horace Grant. Fade away. Nope. But look at here. Rodman clears it out for the Pistons.
Well, the Rodman-Pippen matchup, Scottie Pippen is really no match for Dennis Rodman underneath. Not accustomed to being under there for such long periods of time. Rodman gets great position. That's what I mean by giving away opportunities. They can't afford to give up second and third shots to this Piston team at this time.
Rodman with a screen on Jordan, and Thomas takes it by a private plane. There's B.J. Armstrong at the other end. Nope. Mark Aguirre for Detroit. Back into the in the morning. Here's Johnson. He's all right.
The driver that truck took his Bulls hat off.
Three sections. Gave Detroit a 15-point halftime lead.
Pippen been cold all game.
Chicago now hitting 22 of 72, 31% for the game. As befitting the defensive effort by perhaps the best defensive team in the league. There's a ball stripped at the other end. 7:48 remaining. Craig Hodges playing with 4 fouls, comes in for B.J. Armstrong, and Ed Neely is going to check in and give Stacey King a rest.
6 seconds on the shot clock.
Sally, 2 seconds on the shot clock. Offensive foul.
Well, the Pistons are certainly leaving openings right now.
Another great pass from Jordan to Neely. I think consecutive downtown Detroit, where the Pistons playing their first game number 7 at home. Michael Jordan count the basket. Where the Pistons playing their first game number 7 at home. Michael Jordan count the basket. Where the Pistons.
Hello, Mr. Mike. Oh, and one.
Oh my God. To the free throw.
Well, I mentioned before, the Pistons haven't slammed the door completely. Their turnovers on the other end are adding opportunities for the Bulls. Here, Michael Jordan takes advantage of it. Again, getting pushed off the block where he'd rather be. But this time, he takes the whole interior defense of the Pistons to the basket. Another look, the same thing. It's more quickness than anything else. But those are the things that they have to do. Take the ball into the paint. They can't rely on the perimeter shots anymore.
77-64, the lead 13. Bulls chipped 5 from that margin in the third quarter of play. They fell behind by as many as 22, 61-39. And trailed at the end of 3.
Dang, Mike got sold, man.
Rodman. Limping as he heads back down the court. Grant. Horace Grant gets his 3rd basket from the field in the ball game. And it's an 11-point margin with 6:50 to go. Johnson, Sally, Rodman, who's limping, Dumars, and Chuck Daly. Eastern of the Pistons. Here's an 88 in the first round of the playoffs against Seattle. Series are now within point direct.
Time when they're on offense, unless there's an easy layup.
77-66, Vinnie Johnson, Mark Aguirre. Here's Johnson spinning. Dumars. Joe Dumars has had a very quiet offensive game today.
And that's where Michael Jordan's fatigue may show. Joe Dumars now going to the offensive boards. That's one place where Michael Jordan would like to rest a little bit.
Pippen and Aguirre battling for position. Aguirre gets it. Grant comes with a double team. The kick pass to Rodman off the glass and good.
Pistons doing a nice job of working their offense. They're executing the way they have to down the stretch to keep this lead.
Jordan. Fakes left, goes right to the baseline, misses the shot. Hodges saves it. Pippen spots up for 3, passes on the shot, and comes inside.
Shoot the 3, Scottie.
Grant with the putback. Another offensive rebound. Neely back to Jordan with a fresh 24.
Can't make this up,
right
man.
now fighting for their lives.
Can't make this up, bro. My man's has no help.
Michael Jordan with 27. He's hitting 50%, 11
They
22.
sold Mike finals.
They just, the Bulls, that is, have not been able to get the
They
margin
sold
difference
Mike
into single
finals,
digits.
bro.
Johnson, near air ball.
Yeah.
Rodman pleading the case that the ball was off Neely, and he pleaded well.
They sold that, bro.
Well, how about the argumentative powers of Dennis Rodman?
Actually, knowing the officials to whom he was making the argument, He just made a mistake and pointed in the wrong direction because those are
left ankle. 5:13 to go in the ball game. Thomas, Lambier.
The Bulls defense. Scottie Pippen has to come over.
5 minutes to go. Lead back to 14. Dumars and Jordan. More magic from
Crazy,
Michael.
man.
And the lead is 12.
Phil Jackson's calling his team up, asking him to pressure.
Isaiah Thomas with 7 assists to go with 7 rebounds and 21 points. Has the ball now. Jordan out on him. Thomas drives left and Jordan strips the ball. But Sally gets it back and puts it in.
Again, it's the dirty work. No one getting on the floor for the loose ball. Detroit wants it more at this point.
Neely. Pippen passes inside. Lambier knocks it away. 4:10 to go. That has them on their feet everywhere except the Bulls bench.
Did I ever close my eyes? Oh my God.
Aguirre, Lambier. The lead Rockies will.
Yeah. All right.
18 years.
You're a kid from the streets of Chicago. Was it any more meaningful to beat the Bulls?
Not really. I got kind of mixed feelings about it because I'm from Chicago and I've always grew up wanting them to do well. And then it has to be that I'm kind of like the thorn in their side. But, you know, they're a good basketball team. And one day they're going to be in the position that we're in. And hopefully they can win one in Chicago.
Well, thank you, Isaiah. Best luck against Portland. Back to you, Vern.
All right, let's.
And he handled it against Portland. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.